Hey everybody, it's Cindy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. I am super excited to share this project with you today. If you have seen our last couple of videos, you know that Betsy and I are involved in a challenge. I challenged her to make a Sherlock Holmes Sherlock Holmes journal, and I was going to make one as well, and I just finished mine, and before I put it in the shop, our Etsy shop, I wanted to share it with you. And I'm super excited to see hers. I have no idea. I've shared a little bit of mine with her as I've been making it, but she's been playing it pretty close to the vest, so I have no idea what she's doing. And I can't wait to see her video, which I'm sure she'll be posting in a couple of days. So this is my journal, and I'd like to share it with you. So the journal itself is a little smaller than my normal journals, and I used a Sherlock Holmes book. It was from the 1960s, but it has this great emboss on here of the deer hunter hat and a magnifying glass, and so I wanted to use the cover, and so I didn't embellish the cover too much so I could keep it that intact. So the size is 8¼ inches tall and about 5½ inches wide. And the spine, which I redid because it was way too small before, is 2½ inches. And I have this removable tassel on the side. And the journal is pretty gender neutral. There's a little bit of lace, but not too much, and it didn't quite fit the theme of Sherlock Holmes. But I think this journal would be a great gift for either man or woman. If you are a fan of mysteries like I am, I read everything. I've read everything by Agatha Christie, and I read all the Trixie Belden and the Nancy Drew books, and I love mysteries. So this is a project that was something I've been interested in for a long time. So here's the back. And the front, I have just this closure. It really doesn't need a closure. The cover is the perfect size, so there's no alligator jaw or anything. But I put some sari silk around there, and the key is an antique key from Germany, and so that's my closure. Here on the front, I have the nameplate with Sherlock Holmes' name on there, and some little pockets for some clues. A little sari silk stuck to my hand, and just some cards. This one has a quote from one of the books. I am a brain, Watson. The rest of me is a mere appendix. And so it's a double pocket. And there's some other cards here in the back. This one says classified. This one has another quote, the adventure of the missing 3/4. Nothing overly embellished because I wanted to make sure everything fit in the pockets. So some cards there on the front. 4 signatures, as you can see, probably already noticed that I sewed directly into the spine. So when you open it up, it says The Secret Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and each signature has about 12 pieces of paper. I think I added a couple of extras, so it'd be over 200 pages, but it's about 200. So here is a pocket with a tag, and this is some lace paper that Betsy made. I have some charms, a number of charms throughout the book, including this really cute magnifying glass, and it actually works as a magnifying glass. So that's pretty fun. Here's some vintage paper, an envelope pocket that I have collaged, and it has an evidence tag inside. Some notebook paper and a little collage up here in the corner a library pocket, and inside of the pocket there are two cards. This one with another quote, and this one is the library card, and some fingerprints right there. Lined paper, some, I think the kit, I got the kit from Victoria Designs, and I didn't use a lot of cards or tags from a kit, but I do have some papers in here just for fun. Here's a belly band with another tag with Holmes's address. A book page from, oh gosh, I don't remember which story. I think A Study in Scarlet. Another collage with a quote from the book. And a very tiny glassine envelope or paper bag with an evidence tag and some vintage vocabulary cards. And all of the cards, I have a number of vocabulary cards in here that are all kind of related to mysteries. So those are a lot of fun. And Holmes played the violin, of course, so that's on there. Some more notebook paper, and the other side of the window envelope, and it has a journaling card in there. And this is a French vocabulary card. La case means the case, and I probably pronounced that wrong. French was not my second language. Here we have an envelope made out of cardstock and a book page, and on the inside there are some Holmes journaling cards. And I have that just clipped on here with these great Tim Holtz clips. And here's a card. The book had the dust cover still intact, and so it's not intact anymore. I cut it down and made a card out of one of the end flaps. A little biography of Conan Doyle, and the seam binding on here is vintage. And a bookmark. I made a bookmark from the spine of the dust jacket. Here's a map of Germany. One of Holmes's cases, of course, takes place in Germany, and so I have some a map in here and a couple of other things that are a nod to that case. A double pocket here with some journaling cards. Here's some more of these great vintage vocabulary cards. Henchman, Intimidation, and Nemesis. I thought those were appropriate for a Holmes journal. Here's another pocket. This one is made out of linen and a little bit of antique lace. And in the pocket there are just a couple of clues, an address, and a newspaper ad. There's some sari silk and some more of that beautiful coffee stained lace paper that Betsy makes. And I made a little pocket on this one with some journaling cards. This is a vintage, some vintage French ephemera, and it's an invoice of some kind. I'm not sure what it's for, but I figure that would be a clue to solve this mystery. A pocket here made from, a double pocket actually, made from some coffee stained index cards, and I have a couple of cards in that one, and on the side it has a book cover, a little bit of embellishment on there. There's another little snippet down in the corner. More notebook paper and lined paper, another envelope clipped on one of those great Tim Holtz clips, and it's got a little piece of ephemera in there, and the quote on this one: "You have a grand gift for silence, Watson. To make it makes you quite invaluable as a companion." Kind of classic Holmes compliment. Always a little insulting at the same time. Another little side tuck right here. And here's page 1 from A Study in Scarlet, a little bit of washi tape on there. A couple of vintage postcards of San Francisco. I thought those might be good clues. The paper clip on this one has a working compass, which comes in handy when you're sleuthing. There's a little tuck with a couple of pieces of ephemera. This is a little remnant of vintage lace, and this is collaged, and another evidence tag. Here's the other side of that great vintage French ephemera. Here, this small little pocket has all sorts of clues, an inventory tag, another Holmes ephemera card, and this is actual vintage trivia card. These obviously are not vintage. This one is. I've tried to include some fun vintage ephemera in this book. You know, the real stuff, mixing it in with some of the newer things. Here's the other side of that map. The third signature, I thought this was a fun page. There's a coffee-stained doily. This pocket has another tag in there. There's another little snippet with a garment pin and vintage button. Another book page with some washi tape. Here, this card is, I call it over-the-top card. I can write on one side and the other side goes over the top of the page. And it actually holds really well. I've never had one fall out before, but I did put I had an extra paper clip, so I put that on there. It has another magnifying glass and some, whoops, well, I probably went way off there. Some vintage seam binding. Here's a page from a German book. The center of the signature has these two big pockets. One is a fingerprint chart, and I left it blank. I didn't want to put my fingerprints in there, but it's a fun place to write. And the other side is a suspect profile that I put an actual vintage picture, and I left it blank. So you can fill it in. I use it for journaling. On the other side is a pocket made from the dust cover, and I put 3 different journaling spots in there. Here's the other side of that gorgeous vintage, I think it's actually more antique, German paper, some lined paper. All the pages, pretty much everything in here is coffee stained. Here, this side tuck has a couple of great Sherlock Holmes pictures. This book page is from The Sign of the Four. Here's another Holmes quote. There are lots of quotes scattered throughout the book. This little pocket has, the pocket has D for dog. I was thinking of the Hound of the Baskervilles when I made that one. And it has a small tag and a marbling paper scrap. Marbled paper scrap, I should say. Here's a pocket, an envelope, coffee stained, and inside it has some gorgeous coffee stained paper. And I've clipped it on with another paper clip. This one is a violin and a music note, since Holmes is a violinist. And the end of the signature, there's that doily, and some notes about Sherlock Holmes. My last signature is the case file that I made in the tutorial. So the front is just a collage, a page from Study in Scarlet, and it says Sherlock Holmes Journal. And on the inside there's a big pocket that I've embellished and have this great tag and a Sherlock Holmes book cover. And that's in the first pocket. The signature in here is completely unembellished, but you can see it's full of all sorts of fun papers. This is a lace stained book page, and that's German. Some more coffee stained lined paper. Here's an envelope from a vintage, I think it was the 1940s report card, and more coffee stained paper. There's the other side of that great envelope. I've had it for a long time and I was kind of reluctant to use it, but I figured, you know, it's got to be used sometime, and I think it's perfect in this journal. So here are all these fun papers. The back has 3 pockets, and the large pocket has some book pages and another page from the Victoria Designs kit, and those go in the large pocket. The medium pocket has a number of tags. This one says to John Watson, of course, Holmes' sidekick, and the narrator of the books. The small pocket in front has a couple of tags and another vintage vocabulary card. This one is from Malediction, and a tiny Sherlock Holmes postcard. In the back of the case file, I made a large pocket, and in here I have an envelope from 1932 with the original stamp on it, and inside I made, I put a large journaling tag or card that I made. With a Sherlock Holmes book page, a music page, fingerprints, and the quote on this one says, "Excellent, I cried elementary, said he." And that goes in kind of this hidden pocket. And the last thing, I just decided last night, I could have finished this yesterday, but last night I was laying in bed not sleeping, which is typical, and I thought I needed to bump this up a little bit, and so I put an envelope, some envelope flip here in the back. And so there are 5 envelopes of different sizes. They're all coffee stained and have been embellished. This first one has a small journaling card that I've embellished and put a tab on, coffee stained paper in the back. And then it flips, and on this side there's another envelope, a letter size envelope with a journaling card, a Tim Holtz card. And then this opens this way, and here's another card, another envelope, and this one also coffee stained with the Holmes quote, and there's a Franken card on the inside. You can see through the window there. And you close that and flip it this way, and there are two more envelopes. This one should open at the top and has a music sheet in there, coffee stained. And then it opens actually this way, but it's embellished here, and inside there's another spot for journaling. Maybe. I'm having trouble getting this one back in. There we go. So those are 5 envelopes, and then there's another envelope in the back, and just lightly embellished, and it has a journaling card and another another tag. I think I want to put different, in fact, I'm going to do that now. I love that crinkle ribbon, but it's just not the right ribbon. So I'm going to replace it with a little bit of sari silk. And so that goes back in. I think this is an envelope for like an old floppy disk or something. It's a great envelope. I got that in some Happy Mail, and it's just perfect. Let's see. I think that's the way I had it. And I've tied this with crinkle ribbon to keep everything from flopping around. So this one is pretty packed full of fun stuff. So there it is. Here's my ribbon. I hope you liked my Sherlock Holmes journal, and thank you so much for spending the last few minutes with me. If the sound volume was not great, I apologize. I haven't been able to fix it, and I have tried everything, including buying 4 different microphones, and nothing seems to work. And I know I had some complaints on my last video about that, so I apologize if you have trouble hearing me. Look for Betsy's Sherlock Holmes flip through in a couple of days. I hope you enjoyed this one. It will be available in our Etsy shop, and the link for that is below. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Positive comment is always appreciated. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.